Mathioli Charanam, Jayanandalala, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about a very common emotion that we all go through, anger. It's something we all go through. If you don't get angry, shorane illai. That also we've heard, right? That's how do I translate that? You don't have a spine, or if you don't get angry, that's what they say. You can't speak for yourself. You can't speak up and all that. But when we get angry, there are some, ripple effect. Anger is not bad. When Ambal always said, anger is not bad. When you take anger, it's not bad. But anger has these ripple effects, and that would be envy, that would be jealousy, that would be all these are brothers and sisters that accompany anger. They always come together. They're silent in the background, but then when anger goes up, it's like, oh my God, let's help anger. It's like brothers and sisters coming to help, We're all helping um, for support. The anger needs that support. So all these books are there to help uplift that anger and make it victorious. And we have seen this again and again repeating in our Puranas, where the great men have given stories to us, written it for us. Vyasa wrote everything down for us. Poor Vyasa, nowadays the media is there. Hmm? That those days, Vyasa was our media. But nowadays, can we trust the media? No. Kanchi Periva has said, don't watch the news. Those days, the more than television, it was the newspaper. So he said, don't read the news. First thing in the morning, don't read the news, he said. And believe it or not, Ambal has also said that. Ambal has also said that. But what these two people did was, I mean, there are a lot of occasions where Kanchi Periva would ask, what is the latest news? You know, and even Ambal would love to sit with a paper in the morning. You may ask, I mean, we, um, monkey mind human beings is what the right word would be, right? Adi Shankara has stated as the monkey mind. So let's take it as it is. We would ask questions. Ambal has asked us not to read the newspaper. Why is she reading? Well, she's the Ambal. She can read anything. She doesn't have to read. It's an entertainment for her, right? So she reads. I don't know a better answer to that. But why has she told us monkey minds not to read the newspaper? Because it's fake news, right? It's not given, the right things are not stated and it's twisted. And then we start our morning reading that twisted news and then talking about it, taking it with us everywhere. And some people develop anger also, see what's happening in this world, and they get angry. Unnecessary anger sowed in the system by some outside element. You don't even know who the editor is. who wrote that. Huh? But successfully, she or he has sown this anger. And then you form an enmity. Sisters and brothers, I told you, they follow. All the cousins and everybody follow. Pride, anger, greed, enmity. All this comes and joins hands in. They're successful in their whatever they plan. They're very successful because the mind loves all these things. Remember that. So many incidents from our Puranas also clearly stating what this anger does. The one incident I love in Ramayana is the entrance of Shurpanaka, which I've already told you. Shurpanaka enters Ravana's bad days have become. And why? She sowed the seed of anger. She went with her nose cut off, running to her brother, and she sowed the seed of anger. What that anger did, it was accompanied by all the other elements. Enmity, because Rama became the biggest enemy of Ravana. Envy. Why was envy? Because he had the most beautiful woman as his wife. Because everybody's talking about Rama. Everybody's talking about Rama's wife, Sita, is everything. You being the most powerful king, you deserve Sita more than Rama. Envy. You see how they all come together? And then revenge. What was the revenge for? He he cut my sister's nose. I have to go and teach him a lesson. After all, Shurpanaka can change her forms and make herself okay. That's the strength they all have. But it's just the ego, which is also another sister. She'll peep out whenever needed. Ego is how dare he cut my nose. She forgot what she did. That's very convenient. People in the wrong always forget what they do, but the punishment seems to be high. It's like they can't see what they did. The source, they forget the source. What caused that? I might have pushed his button, so that's why this happened. So maybe it's my fault. Let me sit quietly. Who does that? Nobody. If she had done this, no Ramayana. She was supposed to do that, right? So that's why we have Ramayana. But again, that is a lesson for us to take with us. See how many sisters and brothers were formed because of the anger. Then we come to Mahabharata. Mahabharata is full of lessons, right? Full of revenge, full of enmity, anger, numerous stories I can pick from Mahabharata to tell you. So I was talking about the media, right? Hmm? Why did I talk about the media? Vyasa was our media. Dwapara Yugam. Vyasa was our media. He literally went to the war zone. He was watching every incident as it happened. Who wrote the Mahabharata? Vyasa, right? Who saw, wrote. Unlike the newspapers now. Someone else saw, someone else wrote. Something different. You don't get the actual story. Here you got the actual story. Vyasa said, Lord Ganesha wrote. Now we can't forget Lord Ganesha, right? He only wrote. So we do our namaskarams to both of them. Every time we think about this Mahabharata, this epic, this great epic was beautifully given to us because of these two, right? So many lessons, huh? I would like to state one story from the Mahabharata on the same aspect. The topic is anger and enmity. So we obviously know it. This whole epic runs around the two families, Kauravas and the Pandavas, two brothers, cousins, right? So we know Duryodhana is the oldest one. Since he was a child, he was spending a lot of his time with his uncle. We all are very familiar with the uncle, Shaguni. Who did the favor? What favor? Sowing the seed of anger, sowing the seed of enmity. So he sowed it long back. What we talk to our kids really matters. Even if we have some problem with a person, we should never discuss it with the kid. Because the way a kid sees it, it's like he's seeing it with a magnifying glass. A small dust will look so big, no? Hmm? That is how the kid sees it. So you may say this person and the kid, for the kid, the parent is the biggest thing they ever know. So if a parent is crying and it's a small thing, he magnifies it and he carries it with him all his life. Remember that always. What is the best thing to do? To never discuss these things with the kid. That's why those days, when I remember when my parents were discussing whatever problems, they say, get the pony. They said, get out of here. This is not for you. Go from here. And I'd be so curious to know what is going on. Like any other kid, right? I would be curious. Oh, they have some problem there, I want to know. What did that Perima do? What did this Chitti do? I want to know. But they did the right thing, didn't they? Hmm? By eliminating us at that time, they did the right thing. Because how we react is different from how they react. They don't react. The matured minds don't react. They just complain, discuss, and they do exactly the opposite of what they wanted to do. But yes, so the mama here, Shaguni, sowed the seed of anger in a kid. So when they were going to Gurukulam together, Duryodhana always carried this enmity with him towards the Pandavas. He always saw them as an enemy, big enemy. So Shaguni Mama always said, you are the king to Duryodhana. How can he state that? He couldn't state it. Who was supposed to decide this? Bhishma. He was still there. There are all these gurus. The kingdom has gurus, the sages, the rishis. They all decide who the king is. Since Dhritarashtra was the king who's blind, Pandu was the king before. It was very complicated, this situation. It's not straightforward. So in this case, the older great men who are there would decide who the next king is. But Shaguni Mama already decided. He told Duryodhana, you are the next king. You are the king. They can't talk to you like some. Pandavas were very friendly, very innocent, because they didn't have any Shaguni Mama. They were very innocent. You can take them for a ride. The worst part, there was Dharmaputran, who was always wanting to do the right thing. No, you can't lie. You can't lie. Even with small lies, he will make them feel like they did some very bad deed. So everybody, since he was the older brother, he was keeping everybody in check. See how beautiful the 180 degrees opposites, right? The two brothers were. And you see how these people were, um, what was fed in their brains, and here this side, Pandavas, what was fed in their brains. Everything to do the right thing, to be truthful, because Dharmaputran was the lead. So that being said, the worst part is Duryodhana and Bhima. They both were into wrestling. They both were very good with their mace. They both were very good in boxing, all this. Bhima would win. He was a little more better than Duryodhana. Enough. That was another reason Duryodhana just couldn't stand Bhima. The hatred for Bhima was more than the other Pandavas. Because every time Dronacharya made both of them do gusti, wrestling, Bhima would win. Wrestle, and then he would put Duryodhana down, and he wins every time. Duryodhana would have an angry face and get up and he would march out. And then first thing he would go and cry to Shaguni Mama. Shaguni Mama was like, don't worry, my nephew, don't worry. We'll do a plot, we'll do something. So what was the Bhima's weakness? Always the enemy finds your weakness. Remember, we should never show our weakness outside. That's another lesson we learned from Mahabharata. Mahabharata is running on everybody's weakness. And it's like Lord Krishna's job is to save all these people with weakness. Everybody knew the Yudhishthira was bound on truth. That was his weakness. Huh? Dharmaputran. He got the name. Bhima's weakness was food. Bhima's weakness was food. He loved food. Parang kamcha pore, he'll run and come. That shows his innocence also. So when they were teenagers, they're very young. So Duryodhana plotted with his mama. How can we defeat this boy? I can't stand him. Tell me something, Mama, he says. So Mama's, obviously, Shaguni Mama's got a good brain. He talks about his weakness. He says he loves food. We should attack him with that. Take very good, tasty food every day to him. He'll come with you. He'll become your friend and be his friend. So he teaches him how to become Bhima's friend. And Duryodhana does exactly that. He goes and feeds him every day, takes him good food, all these apples and all those nice param which Bhima loves. He gobbles up the whole thing. And he becomes his friend. Bhima's so innocent. And then Shaguni Mama says, today, now they're friends. Shaguni Mama says, today you take him into the forest. Make sure none of the other brothers know. That is why he had to win over his friendship. He had to make friends with him. Otherwise, Bhima won't come out with Duryodhana alone. All this drama was done so that he could lure him inside the forest alone. So successfully, Duryodhana said, Bhima, today we'll go to the forest. I'll give you very tasty food there. And Bhima was like, yeah, let's go. And I'm just going to tell my brother and no need for that. And he pulled, he took him. No need, don't worry about all that. We'll come back soon. Poor Bhima left with Duryodhana. Inside the forest, they go. And over there, Duryodhana gives him all that tasty, yummy food Bhima's eating. But this food was different. This food had all the poisonous herbs mixed in it. It was different. Poor Bhima didn't know no difference in taste or anything. It's like a drug. What does a drug do? What do drugs do? Makes us all, you know, drowsy. We swoon. We have no idea where we are, what's going on around us. So that happened to Bhima, and he had no clue what was going on. Immediately, Duryodhana and his brothers, they wrapped him up with all these creepers that were there, tied him up tight, and there was a lake there. It's called the Vasuki Lake. They tossed Bhima's body inside the lake. It's full of poisonous snakes. They tied also a rock in his feet so that he will not come up. Think about that. Hmm? You would be thinking, oh my God, end of Bhima, right? I'd say, what happens next? All these boys go back to the palace and Kunti is asking, where is Bhima? That's when the boys are like, where's Bhima? Where is Bhima? Where is Bhima? So much commotion. No sign of Bhima. And then they all run to Kunti and tell her, we can't find him. And they're all sitting and crying. Kunti is crying and Dharmaputra is very, he's very calm. He's very level-headed. So he sits with his mother and he says, Mother, don't worry. Let's close our eyes and think of Vasudeva. Let's just close our eyes and think of him. She says, yes, yes. And she closes the eyes and they both pray to Lord Krishna. Immediately we hear the little jingling sound and he enters the room. The charming, beautiful Lord Krishna enters the room. Who is Lord Krishna after all? Hmm? How is he related to these folks? Lord Krishna's father, Vasudevan. Sister is Kunti. Vasudeva's sister is Kunti. So that makes Kunti Lord Krishna's atte, aunt. Hmm? So the Pandavas are his cousins, direct cousins. What a blessing to have Lord Krishna as your cousin. Hmm? So they sit there, close their eyes, and meditate, and he is here. What a cousin to have. He comes and touches Kunti Devi's feet, takes her blessings, and says, is everything okay? Did you think of me? They are so happy to see him. And immediately tell him what happened. The all-knowing Lord knows everything. He knows everything. He says, don't worry. I got this. I'll bring Bhima back right now. You all stay here. He says, and he goes. He knows exactly where this happened. None of them know. None of them know anything. He goes near the lake and he starts playing. You know, the Lord plays his flute, right? What happens when the Lord plays his flute? Every animal, I know cows come, all the cows are there. It's a cow herd, right? So cows come definitely. All the other animals also come. Birds, goats, sheep. Everyone is gathered there. He's an Anirudh for them. A.R. Rahman for them. They're all there, sitting and watching the show. Swooned. It's a different level. Mesmerized, swooned by his music. They're just sitting there and closing their eyes and enjoying it. But here he's not going to be playing the flute. What is he playing here? He comes to this lake and he plays the makuti. Makuti is the one instrument you play for the snakes, to lure the snakes. So he sits there and he takes the instrument and starts playing it. All the poisonous snakes in the lake are emerging out of the lake. They're swimming towards this music. All of them come and lie under his feet. Seeing one snake, we're all scared, no? Yeah, thousands and thousands of snakes are under his feet. It's like they're all drugged. And then the king of snakes, Vasuki, he emerges and comes out and he seeks the Lord's blessings, does namaskaram, and he's just staying with his head bowed until the Lord finishes his music. And then Lord Krishna keeps the instrument, lays it down, and he looks at them and smiles. He says, aha, what a sight. All of you have come. The Vasuki says, what can I do for you? My Lord, tell me, command. What do you want? I can do whatever you say. Then Lord Krishna tells him what happened. By then, Bhima obviously was bitten by all the snakes. So Vasuki feels terrible. He seeks forgiveness from the Lord. He apologizes and he says, what a blunder we did. We were unaware of all this. We've done a blunder. We will do everything to correct our mistake. And he orders all the snakes to go down and get Bhima back up. So all of them go, get him back up, and he's laying there all blue. His body is full of poison, lifeless. And Vasuki orders all the snakes to suck all the poison out of his body. And they're all in that job. Every snake is sucking all the poison. That much poison is in its body. Slowly, we see the color of the skin coming, the blue going out, and slowly the skin color emerging. And all the poison is out, and Bhima is back to his normal skin shade, and his eyes open. And the first thing he sees is Lord Krishna looking at him like that. What do you think Bhima would have felt? Overjoyed. He forgot everything that had happened to him. He got up. He said, Vasudev, you're here. How come you're here? I'm so happy to see you. And Krishna smiles at him and he says, well, I had to come and lift you up from the lake, right? This was a plot which we all don't know that Lord Krishna had done for a reason. He used Duryodhana's enmity to get what he wanted. And what was that? The Kurukshetra war was supposed to happen, which obviously that time Bhima did not know. He was not aware. He's still a teenager. But Lord Krishna knows, right? And during the Kurukshetra war, there is an astra, Nagastra, which will be used. Now, Bhima's body has become so powerful that the Nagastra will never have an effect on it. So, Lord Krishna, when Bhima seeks his blessings and falls at his feet and does namaskaram, Lord Krishna tells him, now your body, blesses him, now your body has become so strong like the Vajra. Vajra is the weapon of Lord Indra. And he says, it's become like Vajra that even the Nagastra will not have any effect on you. That time Bhima doesn't understand anything. But later on during the war, he understands. And there is a episode where he comes and thanks Lord Krishna. These things, they do have so many links, links as in things he does, we don't know. A lot of us say, I want clarity. I want clarity. What clarity you want? Will you even understand anything? Hmm? If Krishna, Lord Krishna, for instance, even explains to Bhima about this war or the Nagastra, he will be dead. He'll say, why did you pick me up from the lake? Should have left me there. So easy to ask for clarity. Why does anyone want clarity? Look at this. This is so pretty clear, right? Hmm? Did Bhima know that by eating laddus he'll land up in the lake with the snakes? Hmm? No, he didn't know. He didn't have to know. If he knew, then he would stop eating. Beauty of Bhima was his food, his love for food, and Lord Krishna used that weakness in making sure Duryodhana satisfies his his desire to kill him. At the same time, made him more powerful. So many lessons to learn from this, right? We should think when we act as the enemy, the Lord will use us, just like he used Duryodhana, to accomplish something for his devotee, whoever we are trying to harm, which is, we see in Bhima's case, right? He accomplished. He gave him a very strong body in return. Now, Duryodhana, what will he do? Nothing. Whatever he did, he was little more powerful than Duryodhana. Now he's become more powerful than Duryodhana. Now, as promised, Lord Krishna brought Bhima back to the palace. Obviously, all these folks don't know that Bhima was this powerful or he gained his strength, body strength or anything. Nothing, nobody knows. Bhima knows. That's it. They were all so happy to see Bhima. They all came and embraced him. All the group hug, all these brothers, Pancha Pandavas, they all came and group hug always. They're so cute. And Kunti was in tears. She was happy tears to see Lord Krishna entering the place with Bhima. She was happy tears. Throughout the Mahabharata, we see this, repeatedly how Lord Krishna saves all these brothers one by one from so many plots that the enemies, cast for them. He saves them. In the end, also, Bhima was saved when Dhritarashtra tries to embrace him. Poor Bhima again, innocent Bhima. He was going to go and embrace the king. When Krishna said, wait, pushed him back. And he put forth a statue instead. A very, you know, a stone statue. And Dhritarashtra hugged because he was so full of anger. Again, same thing, anger, enmity. All that was inside him because he was witnessing the whole war. Because Vidur was telling him whatever was happening on the battlefield. Media was Vidur for him. Again, see the media of those times and our times is so different, right? Viduran was the very noble soul. Vidur was Vyasa's son, sage Vyasa's son, so son and Father did the same job, journalist, media. They gave the news as is. Noble, very noble. So he knew exactly what happened in the war zone. He knew Lord Krishna was backing the Pancha Pandavas every second, every minute. He knew how Bhima killed Duryodhana. He knew that Bhima killed Dushasana. He was so angry. He was full of that enmity and anger inside that he wanted to show it and he wanted to crunch, like literally break Bhima's bones. That's why he wanted to hug him. Krishna knows, Lord Krishna knows, he's the all knowing. Bhima went to hug. So, what would have happened to Pandavas without Lord Krishna, right? He just told him to wait. Wait here, let's see what happens, and put stone statue in front of the king. Thank God he was blind. And he went and hugged the statue, and the statue crumbled down to pieces. That was the amount of anger in his body. With anger comes the strength, the power. So that's when Bhima looked at Lord Krishna and again thanked him. Kunti, the queen, and all the four brothers thanked him. That's when the king also, Dhritarashtra, was feeling very ashamed of what he did, and he started crying. It was like all the anger was released in that statue, which broke to pieces. So now there was no anger. Now there was only guilt. So he started crying. He asked for forgiveness. He started crying and he said how sorry he was. Now he has to live with the guilt, which is the biggest punishment. Living with guilt is the biggest punishment. You all know that? You can't sleep. Anger also does not let you sleep. But guilt is very painful. It's like you're always crying. You're always in a mourning state. Yo pripantene is horrible. At least anger has a purpose. You're looking forward to doing something with it. With guilt, there is nothing you can do. Make sense? So that is what his companion was, guilt. So he saved these brothers. So many situations he has saved them. Lord Krishna. Now, when I said Kunti, right? Let's come to Kunti. Kunti is his aunt, direct aunt. Usually, when I say aunt, they take liberty. They say, Nidhi, paneer khala liya? You could have done this. You could have done that. They take advantage. They take liberty. They expect a lot. But Kunti was none of that. Kunti knew very well who her nephew was. She knew very well who he was. Krishna Leelas are in abundance during the growing up stages only. This Lord, especially Lord Krishna, I think the best part of Mahabharata or Bhagavatam is during his little years when he was a baby until his teenage years when he goes to kill his uncle Kamsa. The Leelas that he plays are the most beautiful. Who does not know? It spread like fire, even during those times. So even before Krishna even entered Hastinapur for the first time, they were all very clear about who he was, who he is, and what all he has done. So everybody were very well aware of his Leelas and who he is. Whether it was dancing on the big five-hooded snake or whether it was killing all the asuras that were sent to kill him as a baby and after. How he lifted the mountain with his little pinky, not even hand, and style on it, right? It's very stylish, very stylish. That little boy. All this news spread and everybody is very well aware. So Kunti from the beginning knew who her nephew was. And she always kept that guard. But that is not always like that, right? Your mind can cloud you and you can, it's my nephew and take advantage. Even after all the war and everything was done, everybody got what they deserved. Kauravas were defeated. All of them were dead. Pandavas got what they deserved. All happiness now. But Kunti was sobbing because it was time to say goodbye to Lord Krishna. When he came to take her blessings and say, I'm going to leave now, she was sobbing, she was weeping. She was, don't go. She said, don't go. She said one thing. He asked her, tell me, whatever you want to ask me, I'll give you, he says to Kunti. And she says, with tears in her eyes, she says, let there be difficulties again and again and again. Do you know why? That way the universe will have the opportunity to see you. You will come and you will be close to us. And when we are close to you, eventually we will get moksha. So let there be difficulties, she says. What a thing to ask. She had already, I think, she knew how the Kali Yugam is going to be. The people of the Kali Yugam also. We think of the Lord only when there are difficulties in our lives, right? Koncham, little bit we are happy, we forget the Lord. We do. We do. When there's everything is beautiful, we forget him. A little bit lifestyle changes. And happiness returns that every Saturday, if we had a schedule that we go to the temple every Saturday, that changes. The temple becomes a movie. It's not wrong to go to a movie, but it's different if we switch, you know. Yeah, we'll go for a movie, but then in the evening we can go to the temple, or we'll go to the temple tomorrow. We have to find a balance. But the Lord has to be in our lives every single day. That has to be, it's our duty. We're not doing this for getting rid of our difficulties. By giving, this is our duty, and this is what we give our soul. It's like nourishing our soul. It's like we eat, right? And nourish our body. This is the nourishment for our soul. Thinking of the Lord is nourishing our soul. And it's needed. It's a necessity. So, what Kunti asked is how the Kali Yugam is. Give us difficulties so that we think of you. Only then you will come. Where there is no dharma, I will come. Is what he has said. So many avatarams happen. Arona, Kilandeshwari, Ambal, Sri Amma. So many avatarams happen. Why? To spend time with us. Sooner we recognize, it's better for us. Who's benefited? Not the avatarams. They'll come and go. But if we are smart and we have that conscience, we have to prepare it though. We have to open that door. Only then we recognize the avatar. Otherwise, he or she will be there and we'll walk past. That's exactly how Sri Amma was. She was very quiet. She was on her own. She did not tell anybody, publicize anything. But those who knew and stuck by her and benefited all the way. Not small benefits, not material benefits, benefits beyond comprehension. Just like the Pandavas benefited with Lord Krishna beside them. So letting go of our anger, letting go of our ego, the enmity, we dissolve all these negatives, then we go closer to the Lord. Who was he stuck to? The Pandavas. Why was he stuck to the Pandavas? Because they never had all this. They were innocent in the beginning. But Duryodhana was always having these negative feelings in him from the beginning. Later, of course, anger developed and Lord Krishna suppressed it. Be patient, time will come. I'm here. Anger happened after the Draupadi's incident and everything. Anger happened. Anger was there. Pandavas, remember I told you anger is good, but we should not let it grow to an extent that we have all these sisters and brothers coming running, you know. supporting the anger. That did not happen for Pandavas. Why? Because Lord Krishna was their advisor. Who is your advisor? That is a that makes a big difference, right? So here the advisor was Lord Krishna himself. So they were on the side of the truth. Truth always wins. So when you get rid of anger, enmity, revenge, the Lord will be there. That is the lesson we take from Mahabharata. Every incident speaks loud and clear. The Lord stuck by them because they had the Dharma Putra with them, who was father of truth. Even the Lord was got annoyed with Dharma Putra many times because of that. Funny, it's cute story. I love Mahabharata. I love that epic. So many things. So we have to decide what we want, right? The Lord or our anger to win. I hope you enjoyed this session. Jainandalala Mathioli.